Hello, classmates. My name is Amy Graff, and I read through the article labeled Early Childhood Special Education Teachers' Use of Embedded Learning Opportunities Within Classroom Routines and Activities. You can see the authors are listed there, and this was found in the Journal of Infants and Young Children, volume 32 in the year of 2019. And so I hope to provide a quick overview of this article. It was pretty interesting. I learned a lot, and I hope you find it interesting as well. So the main thing that the authors wanted to decide or determine was how teachers use embedded learning opportunities. And throughout the article, they will list these as ELOs, as will I during our PowerPoint presentation. So just be aware of that. The definition of these ELOs is that they occur in a naturalistic instruction, which really means that they happen throughout everyday routines, and so it doesn't necessarily disrupt a child's routine and daily activities. Research has also found that these are very useful when working on individual IEP goals. It really happens because it doesn't take a child out of their natural environment, so it's able to be used really easily, and it's effective. Now, the only thing is past research, and the current article pointed out that past research showed that teachers do not use these ELOs consistently, and there could be a number of reasons why. So the reason this article was done was really to kind of look at that past research and then review a current sample. So this was their purpose, to understand how ECSE teachers use ELOs to address IEP goals for individual students. Lots of abbreviations. So, early childhood special education teachers use embedded learning opportunities to address individual education plan goals for students. All of this study happened in special education classrooms or integrated classrooms. The method was that they observed 8 certified teachers in one state. It was in a public school setting over 1 month period. Another part that they used were teacher interviews to determine the individual teachers' understanding and their own perspective of using embedded learning opportunities. And what was actually researched was, over here, 3 activities were recorded for 10 minutes. And these 3 activities consisted of child-directed playtime, adult-directed circle time, and then meal time, which provided a routine. Again, all of these embedded learning opportunities were within a child's normal routine, and that's how they used. That's how they researched what they were looking for. So what they found was that the data showed, when they looked through and labeled and really analyzed the data from the video recordings, was that less than half of the classroom examples used these embedded learning opportunities to address the targeted IEP goals. They saw that teachers used the verbal models in terms of directions and encouragement. When they did do embedded learning opportunities, they used those sorts of models most frequently, and the use was mostly completed during those child-directed activities, again during playtime, and not taking the child out of what they were already doing. So the teachers were able to intervene and use verbal encouragements and directions when they were using embedded learning opportunities. Now, the teacher perception, as you see, the data showed that less than half of the classroom examples were actual ELOs, but the teachers reported that they used, over here, more ELOs than was actually recorded. And then they also decided that the use of their ELOs that they did use was not necessarily towards individual IEP goals, but was more about general classroom goals, which would include that respect, sharing, versus just specific IEP goal on communication. So one thing, I don't know if you can see this, is that these findings were actually consistent with past research. So that is something that is interesting to note. Now, some of the recommendations from authors, and then along with my final thoughts, was that they did note that teachers need more support and training when it comes to the implementation of embedded learning opportunities. And my question with that was, how as teachers can we have those individual IEP goals readily accessible. I can't imagine realistically that we'd be able to memorize each IEP goal for each individual student. So how can we realistically work on targeted IEP goals with our students while trying to use these embedded learning opportunities? That was something that I was interested in. One thing that I also had a critique about the article was that while the teachers said that they needed more support and training, they didn't provide any concrete examples or ways that could be completed. I found that kind of frustrating because it's nice to throw out a suggestion, but if we don't know how to take care of that suggestion, it gets a little frustrating. The other thing that I had on a critique for this article was that their definition of the embedded learning opportunity seemed pretty narrow, just as it was really focused on targeted IEP goals, and that would be maybe difficult to measure. Also, their sample size really only included 8 teachers from one state. So I really questioned the diversity of the sample as well as who really they were watching, and they didn't talk anything about the kids' makeup in the students. So I just wonder about that sample size of 8 is perhaps a little bit narrow. The big thing that I agree with, as did the article, was that high quality teacher and child interactions are key. So that whole idea of, even you might think that it'd be easier with a small group of students in a small classroom, but it's more so having a good quality of interaction between teacher and child, going back to safety and just making sure that kids are accepted, and that teachers are there to provide that security. I also am very interested in finding out if the use of methods such as Montessori or Waldorf, which include mixed ages and really that focus on natural environments, would be any different, if there would be a way that would increase the use of the embedded learning opportunities. So that's it that I have. It was a very interesting article. I'm going to move my face so you can see that the reference is listed right here. Thanks.